Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Fantasy Hockey Pucks. I'm here, your host, Antonio Capos, alongside Ben Rutledge. We also have Owen Hamilton joining us for this mock draft episode. So for today, as I just mentioned, we are doing another mock draft. This is going to be on Yahoo as well. And you're getting your first look at Owen Hamilton, famously known for the Ozone. This will likely be posted as well on YouTube and IGTV, and the audio is going to be on the podcast. So obviously, you won't be able to see us. However, we'll be sure to be mentioning like the important picks, like our picks, and then the picks inside the top 10, and then the top 25 likely. And the draft we will be joining is going to be happening in 6 minutes through Yahoo, and I will be sharing my screen right now.
All right, so I will start with my pre-draft strategy. I have pick 2, as you can see, and as much as it's not dissimilar to pick 3, it still is in terms of you will have people being taken before your second pick. So at the second pick, I plan on taking Matthews, assuming McDavid goes first. Otherwise, obviously, I would take McDavid. And on the way back, I'm looking to either get a winger, ideally someone like Huberdeau, Marchand, Marner. Point does have right wing eligibility, so that is another player that I'd be looking to add. And then on my third pick, I'm looking to add a number 1 defenseman. Last draft, I took the strategy of taking the defenseman late and getting a bunch of number 2s and 3s. This time, I'm looking to take a number 1 and then load up on number 3s. I tend to lean towards the take a bunch of number 2 defensemen. That's easier to execute in the middle part of the order of the draft because you have more picks in the middle, which means that you're able to access when there's a run on defenseman. You're in the middle of it either way, whereas towards either the front or back, you either have to start or end it. And so that's why for this at pick 2, I'm looking to take a high-end defenseman first and load up with my other defenseman later. Antonio, what's your strategy?
So I'll be drafting 10th, which means I'm likely this is a 12-pick league, by the way, rather than the 10-pick one that we did last time. I'll be drafting 10th, and so I'll probably be looking to get somebody like a Pasternak there, or if he drops to me like a Cale Makar. I know Cale Makar is definitely a little bit high for a first pick, especially since he's not a forward. However, he's still a lot more elite than all the other defensemen, and it's important to get that defense game rolling. If I can get us like the best defense in the league, I'm not all too worried if my offense isn't the best, but especially in that 10 spot, it's a little bit tough to get like a high-end first forward right there. And then I'll hope to probably come back with somebody like a Barkov if he's there for me.
Owen, on to you.
Yeah, well, at 12, I've never really picked this late in the draft, but I really just think my plan is going to be I'm going to see what's available and probably just take the best available players I can.
All right, so we have about 3 minutes or so to the draft. And yeah, the hardest part is obviously picking the goalies, which is why we released the episode a couple days ago on how to pick goalies as we're now entering the draft room. But all 3 of us have very similar opinions, which we like to take goalies around round 8 or 9 and then follow up. I like to follow up with one in the mid-teens, Antonio in the late teens, as well as Owen. And so look to see as we both attempt to execute this draft strategy here. So we have 2 minutes.
I am not sure what Yahoo is doing, but they have Matthews at rank 10. Rank 9, which means I am projected to be 1 pick away from him. That's very interesting. It looks like we have 2 auto picks just before, or I have 4 auto picks before me, which means that Vasilevsky is likely going to go in the first round, which again, we said that we didn't like. However, draft starting in 2 minutes.
Try sorting by X rank and see if that's better. Or by rank. I mean, not X rank.
Matthews is still only 5.
But that's see, that's better. Keep it at that. Yeah, that's the better strategy. That's the better rankings overall. As much as I still have Vasilevsky as a a first
I
round
mean,
pick.
it's still messed up because they have Kemper as the 26th pick.
Well, he's Colorado's goaltender, but yeah, I think we're all fading Kemper because I still don't think that Kemper is actually that strong of a goalie. Granted, Colorado made Grubauer look good, who I also don't think is that strong, but I think that Grubauer is better than Kemper, and so I think that I'm fading Kemper personally, especially at his ADP.
I actually disagree. Like, obviously, I'd fade him as well at his ADP, but I think Kemper is better than Grubauer. However, I think that still because of the division he's in, he's likely probably not going to do quite as well. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see a little bit like his stats. I don't think will be quite as good because it was a shortened season last year, so starters didn't have to play quite as much. They didn't get as tired. And the load management was good, but I wouldn't be surprised to see him put up similar numbers, especially when he had good numbers in Arizona.
All right, so we are now 30 seconds away, and obviously McDavid will go first, and then I'll take Matthews second. And so, but yeah, there as much as having the auto draft people in this is frustrating, it is also valuable to watch and learn through auto draft because there's not necessarily a guarantee that everyone in your draft is going to be there. And so to learn how to draft around the auto draft also is valuable. Obviously, you wouldn't have this many people because odds are you know the people in the league. But anyway, and we are underway here.
Wow, they're just I'm looking at the projections. They project McDavid to get 46 goals and 100 assists.
They project Matthews 54 goals. He's off the board.
That's crazy, though, how they project McDavid to get 146 points. Like, relax, Yahoo. Like, okay, but, like, relax.
All right, this will be the most frustrating part of the draft is we have to wait for the people to pick.
Oh, that's how they do it? Oh, I thought it was like Sleeper, because Sleeper, they just insta-draft it. You have to wait for the whole time. That's
only the first pick, yeah.
Oh, okay. That's good.
Draisaitl goes. It'll go McKinnon, Kucherov here. And then back to real picking. All right.
I'm hoping that they take Grant and Panarin here. Oh, no, but then Marchand passed it. Either way, I'm likely going to be getting, based on X rank, I'll probably be getting Brad Marchand. Because Jim will likely be taking Vasilevsky because of that. Rantanen's a solid 6th pick.
Pasternak goes.
Raymond joins. That means it's not going to be 2 out of picks. Vasilevsky's still going to go at 8. That's
and who are you thinking here at 12?
So unfortunate.
I definitely would love to get a star defenseman in Makar.
Yeah, that's a quality strategy, and I think he will because I think, I think that it's going to go Panarin Marchand because he'll end up probably taking Panarin here. That's the right pick. Actually, Marchand's really the right pick, but suspect Antonio will not complain if he gets Marchand.
And he auto-drafted. He just 30 seconds. So I'll take Marchand. Owen has back-to-back picks here, and it looks like I might get – there's a couple players I could get on the way back, but I'm not going to say right now because I don't want to get my pick snaked.
And who are you thinking here? So you're thinking Makar, and then who on the way around?
I might be taking Mitch.
That's not a bad pair of picks, honestly.
Makar, I agree.
Makar Marner.
Ovechkin goes. And, yeah, Makar's a good pick there.
Just to clarify, the first round is rounded out as McDavid went first overall, then it was Matthews, Draisaitl, McKinnon, Kucherov, Rantanen. 7 was Pasternak, 8 Vasilevsky, 9 Panarin, and 10 Marchand. And so Owen, again, goes back-to-back with Makar and Marner. I'm happy with either Kane or Huberdeau, honestly, here. since this is a yearly league, I'd probably prefer Huberdeau, especially with that stacked Panthers team. And
I prefer Huberdeau in Dynasty as well. He's still only 27, 28. And yeah, we've mentioned this before. At least I have. I'm super high on that first line, suspected first line, at least in Ryan, Hart, Huberdeau, and Barkov.
Yeah, I'll take Huberdeau here.
And that's the right choice, but especially because now sitting here before me, there's 4 people at the auto draft, and so you kind of have to, like, you'll know somewhat the order in which they'll go, but you will also have to play it a bit differently because you might have to you'll likely be able to fade some guys who you think are better, but because it's so auto draft heavy, you'll be able to get them later. So I'm sitting here and I'm probably hoping for either one of Fox or Point, and then Barkov on the way
You're
around.
not going to get Point. There's 3 auto drafts before you.
True.
Barkov's a solid pick here. Just looking for me, I'm not going to be picking again for a while, but I'll probably be taking
Zibanejad goes.
Like, it looks like there's Pedersen around my pick, Tavares, DeBrincat, Bergeron. Could take any 2 of those guys. Even Landeskog's worth a pick. Bring Hughes.
And for those of you at home, we apologize for the silence. However, there just is not much needed to be said. Robin Leonard goes. That's
unfortunate
high
for their team.
And
that wasn't even like auto pick either because he wasn't the highest X rank, I don't think.
All right. I think Fox is going to go here. But looking at it, like you have to also look and see, like, you have to have your guys heading into the draft. And if they're your guys, there's no such thing as reaching on them. I mean, like taking someone, say, Steven Stamkos is your guy, taking him in the first round, that's obviously a bit of a reach. But if you believe
bit of a reach, yeah.
If you believe that they're good and they're the guys that you should be taking, take them just a bit before they'd be taken. Now I'm on the clock here, and I'm going to take Barkov, and ideally come back with Hedman. As much as I'm missing that winger, I should be able to fill that out later. I have 2 guys that I love, and you also have to, like, play the board. If you look at it, there's no point in taking Kachuk, Svechnikov, Kaprizov, Kensel when a player as good as Barkov, who we have rank 11, is on the board. So you also have to come with your own personal tiers and draft based on that as well. But I also think that tier list is better than an overall list, because if you know that you need a certain position, you can look at who you have there rather than going off the overall and being like, well, this guy's 30, but this guy's 22, even a positional need.
Yeah, definitely.
So I'm hoping for Hedman here. That way I have one solid defenseman. Of course, Hedman goes. Now I'm looking to take a winger here. I don't love any of the wingers sitting around here.
I remember you used to be really high on Patches, weren't you?
I was, but I'm going to go Stone because I think that Stone's going to have a terrific season. It's hard when your guy gets taken right before you, but that's why you should always have a backup plan. Like, I had a backup plan of taking a winger, and now because I didn't get that true number 1 defenseman and there's really none left, or at least when it's my pick again, I'm going back to the strategy of a bunch of number 2s. And so that's why you do have to have a backup plan heading into every draft, because as it just went here, I missed out on both Fox and Hedman by 1 pick. And so I had to have a backup plan ready to execute when it came to my time.
All right, and just coming up to me, it looks like there's going to be DeBrincat and Bergeron there that I'm interested in, maybe Tavares. I'm especially interested in DeBrincat because he had an underrated season this year. He had a good amount of goals for the amount of games he was playing, and it looks like he's going to be a good young star on Chicago, especially if he's playing with Cannon Taves this year.
He looked like this 2019-2020 self where he was going to have a terrific season. Obviously, he was cut 10 games short or so, but yeah, I'm not as high on DeBrincat as you are, but I still think that he's a good pick, especially at this point in the draft.
And I think I might make an exception here to my. Oh, it won't even matter because there's 3 auto picks before me. I was gonna say if I might make an exception to take Hellebuck here.
No, you'll get Hellebuck.
No, because there's 3 auto picks and it goes Gensel, Stamkos, Hellebuck. And it's not even that solid a pick there. I've always wondered because I've never really gone for a goalie high up because for the very reason that there's Landeskog sitting there and then Hellebuck. Like I would take Landeskog probably even before Hellebuck, and I still have like DeBrincat, Bergeron, and Tavares that I would take even before I would take Landeskog. So I don't have to choose Michael for myself right now, but I don't know why they have Shesterkin ranked this high. Not on an amazing team, and he's not even a proven goaltender.
I think I think the Rangers are good, and we agreed that the Rangers were probably going to come second in the Metro. So I think he's going to have a terrific season.
The thing is, with the Metro is it's such a scrambled division. Like you don't know what's going to happen. Yes, we think Washington and Pittsburgh are going to decline because of age, but like Pittsburgh still has Gino. They have Crosby. They have Letang. Like they still have a good group of players there. They just need to figure out their net front presence.
Owen, off to you. What are you thinking?
I think I would really like a star center on like a good team. I feel like that'd be probably. Yeah, I mean, he's not exactly a star, but I think I'm probably going to go
Tavares. That's a good pick overall at this ADP.
Yeah, it's not bad. I thought he was taken right before you. That's why.
And I think we all know that Owen is the Avs fan who he's going to go here.
What are you talking about?
I suspect that he goes Landeskog. So Owen is also having a very good draft. He's sitting there with. I'm just pulling it up here, but he's sitting there with
and I'm just looking at it, and Scheifele is staring me straight in the eye. I will take you. Thank you very much.
I don't know if you know the answer to this, but does he have any actual game? Did he have any games remaining on his suspension?
He has 1. He's going to miss the first game of the season.
All right. So Shesterkin goes. May or may not have been an auto draft. Not quite sure.
And then we have 6 straight auto drafts.
Oh my god!
To you.
So obviously not ideal for you guys. Apologies that obviously we had a bunch of auto drafts, but we can't really control it when hopping into a mock draft such as this. But it is what it is.
And I just realized something, and I'm gonna be really angry if this guy gets. He's likely going to get drafted before me, which is unfortunate. But yeah, it's just a reminder to take a scroll down. Like if you're watching right now, you can see there's Jack Eichel still left on the board, McAvoy, Dougie Hamilton, Barry, all solid fantasy players.
Although Eichel is supposed to he's expected to miss the start of the season indefinitely. So
right.
It doesn't.
I still like the players I have, but I would have considered taking a McAvoy or a Dougie here.
No,
I'm still sitting with
obviously it's unfortunate because, there's a bunch of auto drafts because, I may or may not have ended up with Quinn Hughes here, but it is what it is.
There's also Kyle Connor that fell quite far.
And so I was just about to mention, and I doubt he'll fall to me because there's so many auto drafts, but this would be an example where say Kyle Connor does fall and say that you like Nikolai Ehlers better than Kyle Connor, but because the auto draft that they would take Connor. Then you take Connor and then wait to get Ehlers on the other way around. Obviously, there's someone who's actually picking after me, but just as a reminder, when you are auto drafting or when there are auto drafting people. So I'm thinking Ehlers here. He's one of my quote unquote guys here. So I'm super high on Ehlers this year, and I think he's going to have. It's tough to say a breakout season because he's kind of already broken out, but breakout from that kind of tier 2 star, tier 3 star into that next level. Now, obviously, I do need a defenseman here, so I'm thinking Tyson Barrie. I love his point upside, especially playing on. And as much as I don't think he's a great defenseman, I think for fantasy he's a quality player to add.
And just for you guys to know, if you're listening at home or if you're watching, we will actually be, if you guys send in your drafts and the details of your draft, like what the scoring would be and how many teams are in your league, we will be doing draft gradings this year for the coming season. So make sure to be sending those in to see how well you think we think you'll be doing this season. Obviously, we hope that you be following our advice before the draft, so we can help you out as much as possible. But we can advise you on like if there are any holes in your lineup,
how to fill them, stuff like that.
Right.
And especially dynasty, like early trades to make, because right after the draft is kind of the time when you can optimize on acquiring those prospects, because people aren't necessarily thinking about that. They're more thinking about win now for this season. And so that's, in my opinion, when it's the best time to optimize. For example, I was able to acquire Bowen Byram and Jamie Drysdale via trade after the draft, because someone was thinking more win now, and I didn't have to sacrifice much from my team because they drafted more of an older team and so needed more win now players. Just something to remember. Obviously, this isn't a dynasty draft, but just something to keep in mind. So Sorokin goes there. Funnily enough, Varlamov goes at 53rd. I think that's going to be, we talked about this last draft, but I think that'll be the most valuable duo of goaltenders in the league, Varlamov and Sorokin. And I think if you can have both of those goaltenders, that's really a plus, because that's two very solid goaltenders on a very defensively sound team in the Islanders in this Trot system.
Yeah, I don't even know if Sorokin's all that good, but
right now he's not. But I think
so. Like with that defense in front of him, he's good. And I took McAvoy there for you guys not watching. So my team's currently looking like Scheifele at center, Marchand and Huberdeau at left wing, DeBrincat at right wing, and McAvoy defense.
And Owen on
Eichel's injury.
Eichel has a neck injury, but he's still at this point at pick 58 or 60. Sorry, still I think would be a quality pick. So yeah, Owen takes my advice and goes Eichel. You're welcome there, buddy. Who are you thinking here at this point?
I might need another defenseman, but
and Owen's sitting, Tavares, Landeskog, Marner, Makar, Eichel. You really are well spread out at this point, so there's not much that you would need. Yossi's a solid pick here. He will get loaded with minutes this season.
I'm talking about getting loaded with minutes. I don't know if anybody's been watching, but I just queued Seth Jones because I think that he's actually going to have a really good year this year, even though he had a bad year last year. I think it's just because he had the coaching of Torts and also the fact that he was on the Columbus Blue Jackets, who couldn't shoot the puck into the net if the puck.
You are on the clock.
Sure. It's fine. I have him mono picked already, but yeah. I was trying to say there is it. They couldn't hit an empty net if it was the size of the ocean. They were not good last year. Barzell goes there. Sorry, just going back a long way. I told you I was going to do a top 25. So starting at 11, Ovechkin went, Makar went 12. Then it was Marner at 13, Kane. 15 was Huberdeau, Crosby, Aho, Point, Zibanejad. Leonard went 20th. Then it was John Carlson, Adam Fox, Barkov, Tkachuk, Brady Tkachuk, and Victor Hedman at 25.
And what are you thinking here?
Here, as I'm coming up on the clock, I'm thinking probably one more defenseman if there's a good one sitting there that I like. There's not too much currently on the board that I like. Actually, I think I'm going to go Reinhart here with my first pick. I love his potential and love what I think he can do on that top line, at least at absolute worst, that top power play. Now another goaltending duo to look out for is the Mrazek-Campbell duo in Toronto. I think that they are going to be a good duo. So I take Reinhart here. Now, is it worth owning just one of them? Yes, obviously, but it would be much more challenging. But I do think both of them are quality, especially if you have them paired together. And now as I'm coming back up on the clock, I think I'm going to take Heiskanen. He kind of had a down year last year, only 8 goals, 19 assists. But I think that he'll definitely bounce back and have a much better season, in my opinion. And I think that I think this should be the season where he takes over from Klingberg on that number 1 power play. At least I'd hope that's what the Dallas coaching staff would do. That seems like the right move. And so that's why I think that Heiskanen will sort of break out in a way this season. So all mark goes, and I will take Heiskanen. So at this point in the draft, I have Matthews, Barkov, Ehlers, Stone, Reinhart, Barrie, Heiskanen. And here's kind of the more boring part of the draft, as it's just a whole bunch of auto picks as we gear up for Owen and Antonio to pick.
And yeah, just there, I was kind of looking between normal rank and X rank. Obviously, I think normal rank's a lot better, but it's useful to be on X rank because we have a lot of auto drafters. And I just noticed I'll be the next to pick here, so I don't mind saying this, but Darnell Nurse was sitting there, and he was the top fantasy defenseman for I think the first month and a half last year. So I think he'll be a solid pick, especially when he's on Edmonton with Connor McDavid. And since I only have McAvoy and Jones on defense, I don't mind taking him here. And I think that I may come back with either another defenseman, or if he's taken, I'll come back with likely another center or winger or right winger here. So I'm up next, and I doubt this guy will take Nurse because it looks like he'll take Jack Campbell.
And Owen, who are you thinking as your picks coming up?
So I'm liking my defenseman of McAvoy, Jones, Nurse here. But yeah, what are you thinking on?
I might actually. There's really not a lot of wingers right now. I might actually do another defenseman.
There's not a bad move. I like some of the defensemen who are sitting up there. And at least for me, I'm starting to think about a possible goaltender. Chychrun, it's a great pick. And I mentioned this again last time, but as much as Arizona will not be a good team, I love Chychrun and I love what he can do. They still do have some skilled players, and I think that he still will carry some value, especially in a Bangos league like this is. I think that was a great pick by Owen.
Oh, thank God. I thought you were going to take somebody that I really wanted.
And so Tarasenko's off the board now by Owen. Well, let's just say a less quality of pick.
Wow, I really thought I was in the clear there. I really did.
And
I had Shea Theodore queued. He was taken with auto pick. Yeah, I'm probably just going to go with yeah, that was my second.
That's a good pick. I think he's a great player. Now that both of you are done your picks, I found William Nylander sitting there at 110.
Solid.
So I'm
Solid.
pretty happy to get William Nylander at pick 95. He's my other guy. And for example, I took Nikolai Ehlers at 47th. And so nearly double that I'm going to end up getting William Nylander, and I value them very, very similar. So Yahoo, I don't know exactly what you're thinking here with Nylander at 110, but I will not complain. That is for sure. And then I think I'll take one of my first goalies in Mrazek after this. As much as I do think he will be the backup, I think that when Mrazek runs hot, he's an elite goaltender. And I think he still will end up getting about 40% of the games, and 40% of games on Toronto, which is a high win team, especially if wins are valuable in your league, is super important. Bennett goes, Caulfield goes. Now, I don't love Caulfield as a top 100 player. I know Antonio does. Love him.
I do a lot. I liked what he did in the playoffs, but don't act like you're a little bit biased because he helped send the Leafs out of the playoffs.
Mrazek goes. Caulfield did nothing in the playoffs against the Leafs.
I mean, yeah, he had it in a couple of assists.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Anyway, Demko sitting there at 91. I love his potential. I think the Canucks are going to have a great bounce back season. No more Braden Holtby to back him up. They just have Halak, who is just a tried and true backup, so he doesn't have to really worry about someone taking over as a starter. And so I love the potential that Demko brings, and to take my first goalie also because, well, a lot of the higher quality goalies will be gone coming to my next pick.
Yeah, I'm just echoing that. I'm looking at goalies right now, and I'm thinking I may have faded just a bit too much because, like, even the quality guys that I normally go for later in the draft, like I'll be able to take one of them here. In you took Demko. I'll take Jeremy Swing. Sorry, I thought somebody had taken him right there.
Ooh, Pionk.
I'll be
that
taking
pick hurts. That pick does really hurt. Although in only a 4 defense league, that's why I faded D after taking the first 2 there early. But Pionk sneaking there inside the top 100, I think is a good pick. I think that Morrissey really struggled in the playoffs. Pionk thrived, and I think that will continue the next season, and Pionk will end up with the number 1 power play.
I don't know why Yahoo takes so long on these auto draft picks.
It's 10 seconds, but unfortunately, when one auto draft person either joins or leaves, they have to go the full 30.
All right. Drew Doughty taken there at 102. It's okay. Klingberg's a better pick there. I still like him a lot.
I think Heiskanen will take over Klingberg's role, and Klingberg will fall more than number 2 and put up Heiskanen-like numbers. Rust there at 104. I don't know. I don't like Rust's potential. And
you used to love him.
I did.
But I feel like he's older now. He used to be like 28. He broke out. And then he kind of I feel like his value's gone down.
He's due for an injury here. Anyway, we've been talking a ton. Owen, over to you. What are you thinking here?
I really don't know right now.
Are you thinking goalie here, or have you taken somebody yet?
He's loaded up on defense. I think there's a couple quality wingers if you're looking for some.
Carter Hart's still sitting there if you want to take a chance on him.
Teravainen, Verhaeghe. Nedeljkovic goes. That's a pretty good pick there. He is a quality goaltender. I just question the quality of the team around him, although they have improved, and I suspect that they will be better this season. It's just they're in a really tough division, which makes it hard to love Nedeljkovic's potential. And Buchnevich goes. That's a good pick there as well.
And it's important to note, I think that normally in a draft like this, instead of a Swayman, I would probably be trying to get Rask later. I'll be taking Kevin Fiala here. But because of this year, he's out until at least January. Watch for him to be a steal off waivers come late, into the late season. If he ends up signing with the team, especially if it's the Bruins or another solid contender team. Especially if they have a good defense. Like if he signs with Carolina for some reason, like it's like I think 90%. If he re-signs, 90% chance that he goes to the Bruins again. But I would still definitely be watching that.
Oh, he's not.
And that's not only just me being like trying to be biased as a Bruins fan here, but anytime that there's somebody that's injured and probably not going to be back until like midway through the season, I always keep them watch listed.
All right, so I'm gearing up here. I think I'm going to take Carter Hart. I ended up with this goaltending duo last time. I love his potential. I think Philadelphia will bounce back this season, and so that's why I think that Hart is will have to be the leader if they're going to do that. And so yeah, I'm going to take him here, and then I'm going to come. I plan on coming back with Taylor Hall of the Boston Bruins. I think he really had a great end of the season with them last year, and really helped drive that secondary scoring that they really needed for quite a number of years. And so I suspect that to continue, and we'll have to continue, especially with the loss of Krejci. Line A goes. Now, as a backup plan, I will take Bo Horvat if Taylor Hall does go here, although I doubt it.
I have two people queued, but they're both supposed to not fall until like way like almost after my next pair of picks.
Teravainen goes. That's a good pick item queued for later on in the draft.
So you take Hall. There's going to be 6 auto drafts here before it comes to me. And Owen. I'm just trying to look here. Like I always try and find late season snags. Just for you guys to know, Kane, it looks like he's gonna – the organization doesn't want to move him, but nobody on the team wants to play again. There's been a lot of complaints of players saying that they don't want to play again if he's on the team. Obviously, they're going to be contractually blinded to playing, but I would still worry that they might not pass him the puck as much and it would decrease his performance from before in previous years.
Big run on defenseman going here.
I really don't mind because I've already taken my 3 guys in McAvoy, Jones, and Nurse, and I'm just going to wait.
Gerard goes. I was hoping he would fall to me.
You got him next time.
Like I said, they're on him too. Good old ESPN coming in there with quality. Antonio, you're coming up. Owen, what are you thinking here?
I'm going to just try and fill out my wingers right now and then maybe snatch a goalie.
There's a couple quality picks that I could take here.
I feel like there's still those 2 centers in Couturier and Horvat who are sitting there.
I know, but I don't want to take them because I really like my centers right now. I'm going to default to the guy that I really liked. We were having this discussion earlier on who out of Hyman and Landeskog who's going to get more points this season. So I feel like it's solid that I took him 130th when Landeskog went 80th.
Oliver Ekman-Larsson goes, puts Owen up on the clock.
Who are you taking here? Any ideas? Or?
Spencer Knight, that's a good pick. I picked him a lot higher than this last time. I think that Bobrovsky will inevitably struggle, and so getting Knight there, even if he's just going to sit on your bench, is still a good pick. You do have to be patient with someone like him or more of a rookie and give them time to develop.
I like that pick there. I know you're not quite as high on him, but I really like him.
I'm not as high on him, but it's all good. Antonio, you're now up on the clock.
Okay, I think I like this as a solid backup goalie pick. Jordan Bennington, he's on the St. Louis Blues. They're a decent team, and I know he was really good a couple of years back when they made their cup run. I could easily see him having another good season this year. So now I'm just looking for a D and 3 bench spots. I'll likely take 2D and then another forward to fill out my bench, because I think that even though Swimmin will only be probably playing 50% of the games, goalie points, especially in our leagues, how we do it, they either hit really well or they get negative, and you can afford to lose some goalie games and just pick up a waiver wire ad.
I just lost out on a ton of. I had
that was a run on
Tony
D.
D'Angelo and Alec Martinez queued up to take their both go before me. That's frustrating. And there goes Brent Burns. Also had him queued to take. So I'm struggling to find a defenseman here.
Yikes.
And
Darlene goes to.
I mean, not like you would take him, but like he's another D. How many straight D is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Damn. Grizzly
goes, all right, I really have to take a defenseman here. And I like Drysdale's.
I took him last draft in the same position. Pretty good. That's amazing that so many D just went.
Right before me, too. It's okay, though, and I'm likely going to come back with Muzzin. I like his potential.
Oh, damn. Okay.
I think, especially in a Bangos league, he has he's someone. Evander Kane goes now. I probably would not draft him, even though if he does play, he's a good player. I just don't think that it's worth taking him.
Who are you thinking right after this?
Muzzin.
Muzzin? Solid.
How old is Keith?
Duncan Keith?
Yeah.
I think he's like 38, 37, somewhere there.
Oh.
All right. Ottinger goes. And so I'm going to take Muzzin, and that'll round out my defense core. 3 picks left here.
I'm right now contemplating like who I take here on defense. I've kind of been looking. See, if this is a Bangos league, this would be a no-brainer.
It is a Bangos league.
It is?
That's why they have the hit stats up.
I'm happy to take this man. I am really solid. So it looks like I'm going to be taking Adam Weiss in here to round up my D. I know I had him last year, and it's like even though he doesn't get too many points, this guy gets so many blocked shots and hits that it doesn't really matter because he still ends up averaging around 2 fantasy points.
Wow. I did not realize that Couturier and Horvat were still both sitting there.
Wow. I've seen Horvat go inside, like easily inside the top 100, like 80.
Same with Couturier. Both those guys are well inside the top 150, and they both just fell outside of it.
And that's why I normally wait on centers, like especially my second center. Like Nietzsche might end up playing right winger minutes for me if I can find another good center to put on my bench. But I just took Adam Larson there, as I said. Now coming back to me.
Owen's up on the clock here first. So, Owen, what are you thinking?
I'm thinking probably, I mean, I need a goalie or a defenseman. It doesn't really matter the order.
Yeah, there was quite a big run on goaltenders that you just missed out on.
The 2 goalies I'm seeing right now, I don't like, though.
I mean, you just took who I was about to say. I don't mind Markstrom as a whole.
Yeah, but Smith and Jari, yikes. I would not take them if I was offered money.
All right, so we all see where Antonio stands on those players.
Yeah.
I mean, just look at it. Like, Smith has probably the worst defense core in the league in front of him. Like, behind Nurse, there's really nobody. Duncan Keith, okay, but this man is 38. Like, he should not be lacing up the skates for much longer.
He's just trying to get a chip.
Antonio's true opinions are really coming out here on the podcast today.
And look at Jari. Like in the playoffs last year, he crumbled against the Islanders. Just not a good look. As I'm looking here, just deciding between a couple of players, and I will take Joe Pavelski.
All right, so here's a run of auto picks now. The player that I'm looking at, Vincent Trocheck, likely will go.
I got the third goalie on accident.
Which I will likely take.
I have 3 bench spots left, and it's tough in a Yahoo league like this where there's only 4 defensemen. Is it worth taking that 5th defenseman, maybe, or the 3rd goalie? I think really in a small bench like this, you have to choose between the 2.
Yeah,
you should not take 2. Like you should not take 1 goalie and 1 defenseman. I think.
Yeah, because you need as many forwards playing as you can, especially when you have 6 forwards and only 4 bench spots. Like that's rough. I wouldn't design a league like
goes.
That. I would normally go. I would probably go if I was like only 4 bench spots. I would go a left winger, a center, a right winger, 2 flex, and then the forward bench.
Dominic Kubalik goes, so I'm sitting here, and I think I'm going to go Connor Garland. I love his potential, especially playing in that top 6 of a very good team and in the Vancouver Canucks, I think, and so I'll be happy with taking Garland here.
I'm between the 2 players right now for my last bench spot. Depending on who you take, I'm likely
you only have 1 bench spot left. You should have 2.
Yeah, I have 2, but I've already decided who my 1 bench spot's going to go to. As unless you take him, I'll likely be taking a defenseman here.
All right, so I'm set. I'm going to take Cal Pettersson, the goaltender for the Kings. We all have come to agreement that we think that Pettersson will end up, or sorry, not Pettersson, but the Kings will end up making the playoffs, and I think Quick is well past his prime, and Pettersson will have to be the guy to do that, to carry them there. And so I think that as a 3rd goalie behind Demko and Carter Hart, I think that Cal Pettersson is someone to watch, especially with him being still very young.
Wow, this guy actually took my pick. I was going to take Ryan Paula.
Guys, why is Orlov so low? Like, is he not like that?
I mean, Orlov used to be decent, but he's number 1. He's like 30 now, and number 2, he's 30, 31,
32.
Yeah, but his offensive output was never amazing, and now that he's slightly faded, it's just not worth taking him. Unless it's in a Bangos league that heavily depends on hits, and the points aren't worth it.
Vrana, there goes. That's a good pick, especially at 172. Now there's a couple guys here who are.
See what I'm thinking between for like my forward spot here. I'm debating between actually no, I have no debate anymore. I was debating between.
Oh, Verhaeghe goes. That's what would fall to me.
Wow, that's unfortunate. I was debating between Stützle and Craig Smith, and then I saw Verhaeghe, and I'm like, okay, easy pick here. Nope. So I'm gonna cue both these guys so I don't forget about them. Where do they have Stützle? Ooh, I don't mind Eli Tofan either. He's a solid pick.
Oh, Jared McCann, there's a good pick.
And I see Kevin Hayes. You know what?
You have 8 seconds.
I'm going to go for Claude Giroux.
Owen clearly is, as you can see, he's disappointed in that.
That's my boy.
Well, we had a running joke. Owen, when he first saw Giroux, thought his name was Claude Giroux. So,
well, I just gotta pick my boy.
Oh yes.
So Owen clearly on that very last pick there for him was not second. Yeah, very last pick was not really trying. As Fat Phil should not be going, especially in a 192 pick draft.
He's the spark off the bench.
There's still a ton ton of good players I'd like to take here. This is why having such a small league is so frustrating, because looking up and down the Drake Batherson, Yanni Gord.
I don't have a pick here. I'm probably going to auto-draft someone. No, not Mike Smith. I can't have him on my roster.
Drake Batherson was a good pick. But anyway, as I was saying, the fact that Yanni Gord and just scrolling down the user players that I personally like, Yanni Gord, Josh Norris, Travis Konechny, Joel Farabee, Craig Smith, Jared McCann, Jordan Eberle.
Yeah, in this league, I would
Oliver
definitely
Wahlstrom.
Be quick to go to waivers. Like the first thing I do after any draft is I go to waivers just to see if there's anybody I missed that was like good last year based on points.
As well, the average waiver wire sorts by owned percentage, so you can generally see if you missed a really good player.
Right, and for that Batherson pick, he's a good like developing player, but I still don't think he deserves a roster spot in this league, especially. So I'd probably go back and look for if there was a defenseman or goalie there, as I didn't end up picking one for my bench.
Now heading into my last pick, I'm set to take Travis Konechny here, assuming he does not go. Hopefully, he does not go.
See, I would probably I would bet on Josh Morrissey, hopefully getting the power play spot back if Pionk just doesn't end up working out there. He had some value last year, but it doesn't look good on D.
All right.
And who did you take? TK?
Yeah.
Solid pick.
So
that's going to do it for our draft. Just a brief summary.
We'll each briefly go through our team. So Antonio, if you start us off, then I'll go. Then Owen will bring up the rear, just talking about our team quickly.
All right. So I started with my pick of Brad Marchand. I also picked Huberdeau as my two left wingers. In no particular order, my two centers were Scheifele and Nietzsche. I also picked up Pavelski and Giroux as possible center flexes. I also had on right wing DeBrincat and Fiala. On defense, McAvoy, Seth Jones, Darnell Nurse, and Adam Larson. And then my final two roster spots went to Hyman and Batherson. And in net, I had Swayman and Bennington.
All right, now to me, I had my terrific center duo on Matthews and Barkov. And I followed that up on left wing with Nealers and Nylander. Nylander and Ehlers.
Nealers and Nylander, the new two stud muffins of the league.
So I'm pretty happy with that. And then I ended up with also getting Mark Stone and Ryan Hart. And my defense core lacked a little bit. Tyson Berry, Miro Heiskanen, Jamie Drysdale, Jake Muzzin. I faded defense too hard. I occasionally will do that, but if you're going to end up with a forward core this good, in my opinion, you can fade defensemen because they aren't obviously as valuable. And off the bench, I was able to grab Taylor Hall, Connor Garland, and Travis Konechny. And then goaltending has a lot of high upside, although somewhat of a low floor in Demko, Hart, and Pedersen. Owen, on to you.
Okay, so on my roster, it looks like I don't have a left winger, but I'm actually going to just put Landeskog there and move I think Eichel up to center, so I got that covered. And I really like my team. I picked last, so I was able to get a lot of good depth, and I made sure to get a lot of defensemen. I really like my team.
Right.
All right.
That's solid. And it's just interesting if you can look at the standings and who they would think would have.
If you sort by last season stats, because this is sorted by their Yahoo's projected stats, and based on the fact that Austin Matthews was 9th. Well, that's not quality. So do you want to quickly sort by last season stats up in the top left?
So
Antonio's
based on last
second.
Season, I would have been second. Owen would have been 8th, and Ben would have been tied for 10.5. But obviously, this season's a lot different from last season, as rookies are going to get better. Second-year players are going to break out. Mm-hmm. And obviously, I think we all had very solid drafts.
I agree. In my opinion, I think at least heading into next season, we have the top 3 teams. As to avoid the beef, I will not give my opinion on the order of that. But anyway, thank you guys all for tuning in. I'll pass it over to Antonio to finish with our outro.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Like Ben said, make sure to meet us back here, same time, same place next week. We'll be inviting in a new special guest who actually does play hockey as well, and we'll be going on to possibly a hockey career.
And we will get her take on her opinion heading into the next year fantasy season, open with some questions for her. And then we also will likely be putting out another mock draft episode next week, very similar to how we did it this week, our normal episode plus a mock draft episode.
However, we'll probably be adding the special guest as well as Azim Mansour, who you guys have already heard. And that'll be it. Thank you, everybody, again for listening, and have a good night.